There was once a man who had no money, no powerful family, no impressive education, and no invitation. But he had something far more dangerous, a burning desire. His name was Edwin C. Barnes. And one day, he made a decision that looked impossible to everyone else. He decided he was going to become the business partner of one of the greatest inventors in history, Thomas Alva Edison. Not his worker, not his assistant, not his clerk, his business associate. At that time, Thomas Edison was already a legend. The world knew him as the man behind inventions that changed human life. His name carried power, respect, and genius. To most people, Edison was unreachable, but Barnes did not see him that way. He did not say, "I wish I could meet Edison." He did not say, "Maybe one day I can get a job in his company." No, Barnes said something much greater. "I will go to Edison, and I will become his business associate." That sentence was not a wish. It was not a casual thought. It was a decision, and from that moment his mind accepted only one destination: Edison. There was only one problem. Barnes did not have enough money to travel like a respectable businessman. He had no letter of recommendation, no appointment, no guarantee that Edison would even see him. Most people would have stopped there. Most people would have said, "I will go when I have more money. I will try when the timing is better. I will wait for the right opportunity." But Barnes understood something that most people never understand. The perfect time does not arrive. It is created. So with almost nothing in his pocket, Barnes found a way. He traveled to Edison, not in comfort, not in luxury, but with a fire inside him that no poverty could kill. When Barnes finally reached Edison's office, he did not look like a future business partner. He looked poor. He looked ordinary. To the outside world, he looked like a man asking for a job. But inside his mind, he was already something else. He was Edison's future associate. Not look like a future business partner. He looked poor. He looked ordinary. To the outside world, he looked like a man asking for a job. But inside his mind, he was already something else. He was Edison's future associate. Imagine that moment. A poor young man standing in front of one of the greatest inventors alive. And instead of begging for work, he declares that he has come to become his business partner. To anyone else, Barnes may have looked foolish. But Edison saw something, not in his clothes, not in his background, not in his money. He saw it in his eyes. But success did not happen immediately. Edison did not suddenly make Barnes his partner. There was no magical handshake, no instant reward. Barnes was given a small position. To most people, it would have felt disappointing. But Barnes did not think like that. He knew the door had opened, even if it was only a small crack, and that was enough. Day after day, Barnes worked. Week after week, he waited. Month after month, he held the same thought in his mind: I will become Edison's business associate. He respected the small beginning, but he never confused it with the final destination. Time passed. Not days, not weeks, years, and still, the big opportunity did not come. This is where many people fail, not because their dream is impossible, but because they cannot survive the waiting period. They begin with excitement. They speak with confidence. They imagine success. But when months pass and nothing happens, their desire becomes weak. But Barnes did not quit, because his desire was not weak. It was burning. Every task he performed, every person he met, every failure he faced, he connected it to one purpose, his goal. Then one day, the opportunity finally appeared. Edison had created a new device known as the Edison dictating machine. Edison believed in the invention, but there was a problem. His salesman did not believe in it. But Barnes saw something completely different. He saw the chance he had been waiting for. Where others saw a problem, Barnes saw a doorway. Where others saw a product that might fail, Barnes saw the bridge between himself and his dream.
This was the moment Barnes had prepared for.
Edison studied him closely, searching for a flicker of doubt. He found none. Barnes already knew what the machine was worth. The trained men hesitated, men who'd sold everything before, but not this. Barnes hadn't, and that was exactly why he wanted the chance. Edison pressed harder, testing the weight behind his words. But Barnes' confidence wasn't born of experience. It was born of belief, and belief, he'd learned, could outwork skill. All he asked for was an opening. And for the first time that morning, Edison saw something worth betting on.
Selling the machine was not easy. Barnes faced rejection. Doors closed. People doubted him. Some did not understand the product. Others did not want change. But Barnes had something ordinary salesmen did not have. He was not just selling a machine. He was selling his future. Every rejection became fuel. Every no pushed him harder. Every failure reminded him why he came. Slowly, people began to listen. Then they began to understand. Then they began to buy. Barnes did not merely sell the machine. He created belief around it, and soon, the product that others had doubted became a success. The man who arrived with almost no money, the man who looked like a poor stranger, the man who started with a small position, had finally achieved what he had decided from the beginning. He became associated with Thomas Edison in business. Not because he was lucky, not because he had perfect conditions, not because the world made it easy, but because he refused to let go of one idea. The story of Edwin C. Barnes is not just about meeting Thomas Edison. It is about the power of a definite purpose. Barnes did not say, "I want success." He was specific. He knew exactly what he wanted. He wanted to become Edison's business associate. That clarity gave his mind direction. His desire gave him energy. His persistence carried him through delay. And when opportunity finally came, he was ready. Many people miss opportunity because it does not look attractive when it arrives. It may look like a small job, a difficult product, a rejected idea, a task nobody wants. But sometimes, the thing others avoid is exactly the thing that can change your life. Barnes understood this. He did not quit during the waiting period. He stepped forward. So ask yourself, what is your burning desire? Not your weak wish, not your temporary excitement, not the dream you talk about only when life is easy. What is the one goal you are willing to hold in your mind, even when nothing seems to be happening? Because success does not always come to the most talented person. It does not always come to the richest person. It does not always come to the person with the best connections. Sometimes, success comes to the person who decides clearly, believes deeply, waits patiently, works relentlessly, and recognizes the moment when opportunity finally appears. Barnes had no money, but he had desire. He had no guarantee, but he had faith. He had no easy road, but he had persistence. And in the end, that was enough.